The truth is out there, but so are lies.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about Skinwalker Ranch because season 5 has just ended.
Oh,
and
man.
Tons of stuff has happened in this season. A little bit of context just for everybody who's not familiar with the TV show. It is a reality TV show. Let's be clear, end to end. It's all centered around this really famous ranch. There have been a lot of paranormal reports, and not just like paranormal, but UFO. There's a lot of Native American mythology that's associated with it. The Skinwalkers are shape changers, so that's where the namesake comes from. But the show doesn't necessarily center around that. The show is basically about a small group of people who are researching weird shit that happens on the ranch. Okay? But the context is this is from a company called Prometheus that does reality television. They show up in the summer and they record these people, and it's very similar to like a ghost hunter style format. They chop up what these people are doing into what they think is entertaining, and then they put it on in a reality TV format. So, having said that, the lens through which you experience Skinwalker Ranch is very tainted. Okay, it's coming through all kinds of different opinions.
So for those of you that don't know, I think season 5 is probably the highest rated season of them all on episodes. Did you know that?
I didn't. It starts off, the show doesn't know what it is when it starts. So like season 1, they get down there and they're like, oh, there's ghosts. Oh, there's like radiation. Oh, you know what I mean? Like they're trying to figure out like what's there. And then eventually they come up with this quasi repeatable phenomena in the air and underground, where if they interact with like this particular area by shooting a rocket or putting a hot air balloon through it, then they get like radio waves, and they're like, huh, that's interesting. And so it's really slow at first because they're all over the place trying to figure out if it's like ghosts or radiation or whatever. And then what caught my eye is they get to, I think it was like around season 3 or something. At some point in the middle of this thing, they shine a fucking laser pointer into the sky at this point that they've been investigating, and the light bends. And I'm just like looking at it thinking, that's kind of odd. That means that there's something there. And that's where the show really starts to focus, and it throws away a lot of the garbage that they've been following, and they really hone in on there is some kind of phenomenon here that it could be natural. They don't want to talk about it like that, but it could be natural, or it could be like aliens, or whatever. They lean heavily into aliens. So season 5, they're going to give a recap here. So I'm just going to play the recap, and then we can talk about it. But this one's called Droneageddon. Okay, so they've that spot is the one that I've been talking about. And just for a little bit of added context, I wish they'd shown the image. When they shot the LiDAR around, you can very clearly see there is a cone around this place. The way that LiDAR works is it sends out infrared, and then if something bounces back, that's how it understands where something is. So there is something that is blocking light on the infrared frequency that is in a cone shape that points up to a tip. All right, and they're there, and this is not natural, by the way, or it isn't commonly, like, this isn't like a common thing. So it's kind of,
there's a lot of weird things going on, like the weird UAPs. The UAP thing, it looks like all the UAP videos that you see on the internet. They're just like something, just like it resembled that.
So yeah, and we'll talk about this afterwards because they have actual footage of small UAPs following their helicopter.
Okay.
The drones and for Casey.
But pause
Travis,
it. It's
you?
been proven that area is like magnetically, like, there's anomalies, right? Like there's something wrong with
shit. There's absolutely no. So they've got like a bunch of like weird data. So here's the thing: they fly like a plane over, right? And then they got a GPS tracker, or they'll fly like a helicopter over. and then or a drone. They get the data back, and it shows the data is in the ground. Suddenly, like the data that they've recorded is completely wrong. So they frequently fire off rockets into the sky, and it causes this 1.6 gigahertz radio signal to show up. And this last season, all of this technology that they've had that they are showing off right now, this is all new. And the reason is because this is why I was talking about the escalation of the show. They didn't really know if it was going to be like a Ghost Hunters where they're going to have like, the spirit boxes and stuff like that, because, they just didn't know what was going on with this place. And costs a lot of money to do this stuff. One of the first things that they wanted to do was to drill into the ground, because of I forget why, but they picked up some kind of signal under the ground or something, right? And that's the other hot spot, by the way. There's a mesa that's nearby, and we'll talk about that afterwards. But the two major experiments are the mesa and drilling, and rockets into the sky. And they've slowly, over time, using new methods, been able to get at least what looks like reproducible data. They don't release any of this to the public. The only view that we have is what they show on the show from, this reality TV filter. Or you can subscribe to their OnlyFans, and you can get that information. They've got like a subscription service you can go to with a Discord where they have like cameras running 24/7. You know what I mean? Like, but they don't release the raw data to the public because and there's good reasons for that. I think it overall it's pretty bad that they don't do that. It feels like it's very dishonest. But what they've done is they've honed in on this one point where they're at right now. They are actually the 2 points right here as being hotspots for the phenomenon, where they can trigger repeatable things by shooting stuff up into the sky, running drones through it. They see a lot of, like the UAPs that just disappear and then reappear. Like they have common footage of this that they show on the show. So yeah. Does that kind of answer the...
Yeah.
Okay. Let me find... Okay, here we go. And obviously the show is going to be overly dramatic, so I'm trying... There's one spot that I wanted to get your reaction on, and they're building up to it like a motherfucker.
And lights coming on.
10 seconds, 10 seconds.
Our rocket is hot. Rocket is hot.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Solid. Grid forming.
We are ready to go on this end.
Forming. 2 more drop.
Several seconds later, our swarm in the east field finally started to move into its cylinder formation. But then, more drones continued to fall every couple of seconds.
Look at them.
We got drones dropping like crazy.
We've had several fall. We got several that are missing out of the formation.
These are not supposed to fall when they lose signal, by the way.
Everybody
they just stay up,
back.
right?
Everybody
They go back to their home gracefully.
Holy mackerel.
We have a massive amount being lost.
Oh my God.
We just had catastrophic failure.
That is not supposed to happen.
Holy crap. It looks like we're having major problems. Here, let me get one work. We have one drone that literally comes down and starts to come inside the tent towards us. So I took my coat off, and as this drone was coming down, I had to swat it to the ground to keep it from hitting us. Stay under the tent, stay under the tent. Holy crap. Still got one right there.
Yeah, like they just stay and then they land.
They're coming down
You know,
behind us.
like if they lose signal.
Where the hell's that one going?
They're just coming out. They're falling. Look at that one. That one just fell right out of the sky.
Oh my God.
Oh, it hit hard too. Heads up. Heads up.
I don't want to be underneath this.
I don't want to be
Was the
underneath this.
massive cone causing all this, or something else that we couldn't see?
I should have
There
asked you
was
up.
no way to tell in the moment, So I want to start launching rockets to see if it would reveal whatever was affecting the drones.
Dude, it could clobber us, dude.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it and just kind of scrub this a little bit. So that's kind of like a big moment from the season. Is they go and do this. The drones are not supposed to behave that way. The drones are supposed to gracefully fall down.
Yeah, they go back to their, you know.
Yeah, they don't just, you lose connection and the drone just falls out of the sky. Now, there's a lot of different reasons why that could have happened on the technical side of things, but the reality is that holy shit, that's a professional company. They're not like, you know, amateurs. They go out and they do, you know, like these big like they've replaced fireworks in a lot of places. I don't know if you've seen the drone.
Yeah,
the drone shows. So it's not like they don't know how to manage 1,000 drones up in the sky, right? Like that's their bread and butter.
I think like recently one of the records, right? Like of how many drones. I was just like, it was like I think like 10,000 drones or something like that.
Yes.
So it's like a good chunk of them can go up together. It wouldn't affect each other that way.
Yes, and those are not inexpensive drones. That kind of catastrophic failure cost that company probably quite a bit in repairs,
like thousands of dollars.
Yeah,
well, for it to be falling that, yeah,
because that's also the opportunity to be able to use those in other shows, you know, because they're gonna have to do repairs off of all of these, because as they're falling, the blades are blowing up, and you know, not blowing up, but they're like chipping away at other drones, and just who knows what's going on with the batteries. So that was kind of this is probably a moment I think people would be talking about on here, and I wanted to get your reaction to this because I know you haven't seen any of the show. You just kind of like,
I mean, it's for television, but I know that like you're right. The drones just like that's what they're known for. They'll like go back to the location gently, you know. You see videos of like it like loses connection and it's like gently falling down into water, and someone's like running quickly to try to catch it because it's gonna, you know, safely crash in water or safely land and on the land. Like they don't fall like that. Like they were just like something hit it and boom, down.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild. It's why I'm still following the show, even though I know that there's so many just stupid
it's good
shit
like
that
the suspense factor, like they get you, like it gets me to the point where like I think I'm gonna watch this. God damn you, Ryan.
I highly recommend it. It is actually entertaining, I would say. They do a lot
good.
of, yeah, the quality is good.
High production value, like they're like how they break. I like the fact they have a lot of experts. Now it's just, you know, some random, you know, Joe from Montana saw UAP 10 years ago, you know, is now an expert.
Yeah, I do. It's so hard because it's like I do think that Brandon Fugel, who is primarily funding this, he's like I don't want to say like real estate. He's a real estate guy out in Utah, right? And he's a Mormon, and he loves UFOs, UAP, and unexplained phenomena and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this guy right here is his friend from growing up. I think a couple of the people on the ranch's like personal friends that he's, you know, got out there. And he has, unfortunately, he's branded this as like an entertainment piece and not like necessarily like as a science piece. So everything is branded like that. So it kind of taints things in a very particular way. But I think where I'm at with it is there's something going on here that is too challenging for this group of people to fake. I think that's where I'm at with it.
And like this can't be fake, is what you're saying.
I don't think that this group of people that we see on screen and the group that's implied off screen, that's like, you know, part of Skinwalker Ranch, I don't think that they're faking the things that the show's focusing in on now. Right? Like the drones following, the LiDAR information, the challenges that they've had drilling into the mesa, and the potential, some of the debris that they pulled out of it has been like charred charred wood, like ancient wood, and then some of it has been metals that you would find on modern spaceships. Yeah, they found some things that, if they're faking it, I don't think that they can fake the things that they found. Like, could they be faked? Yeah, they could be faked, but I don't think the people here are faking them. So let me start with that. The second thing is the laser thing, which I think happened in this season. It's actually pretty fucking cracked. And they've got several instances where something visual just disappears in midair and then reappears. And it's not camera. There was actually on the Reddit, there's a group that got the cameras that they were using, the models, and they wanted to see if it was something happening on, in between
the camera,
shutter.
Yeah,
and they were like, you can't fully disprove it, but you can rule out the common stuff. And after they ruled out the common stuff, it was just a little bit too much. And so I think all of that points to there's something going on there that is actually interesting. It could be a natural phenomenon. They've got all these UAPs flying around, or things that they say are, they are unidentified flying objects. So let's just be clear. We don't know what they are, but they are flying around, right?
Well, they even said they're like, there's a UAP. It's not a plane.
Yeah.
Like they identify it.
Well, they've had government planes fly over too that don't have the transponder codes. And on the Reddit, they make a big deal of it on the show, but on a couple of them, like, you've had the pilot hop on Reddit and be like, hey, that was actually me. I'm confirming it because this is my identity. And they've been able to confirm it with the moderators. We were flying over because we're fans of the show, and we were doing standard security training, or whatever it is that they were doing.
Let's fly by there as our training.
Yeah, they were just interested in it, and they just, whoever was the pilot likes the show and was probably hoping to see a fucking UAP or something. You know what I mean?
He's like, let's pass by and see what was. But there's a lot of things, like, I think what you're telling me is the Reddit is saying, like, hey, we can't disprove this as fake.
Yeah, well, look, that's what you want, right? Is you want to have as much information, as much people working on it as possible to disprove it. And there's just, I don't know. Let me see if I can find the laser thing, because my God, it was. I think that was.
Well, I'll watch
4.
it. How about that? I'll catch up and I'll watch it. And then once I'm there, I'll tell you, like, hey, I finally watched the episode.
Season 4.
Because I'm on season 1, right? And you're telling me, like, it takes some time.
Skip season 1. Go to season 4. Season 4.
I'm a completionist, bro.
I mean, look, if you want to, go ahead. I think there is some interesting things that happen in season 1.
I think you said, like, season 1 and 2, you're like, you get through them. It'll explain a lot. And then season 3 is, like, where you start to say, like, it starts taking off. Like, season 3, it starts getting... I think you said, like, there's some things, like, I can't explain. I can't write off as fake.
Yeah,
like, I don't understand. That's what you told me.
Yeah, and
you're like, and you wanted me, you wanted me to watch it as a believer. You're like, because I want to hear someone, like a believer, watching it.
Definitely check it out. By season 4, it really picks up, and they've really honed in on the things that are important, I think. So there's at least that going on for it. Really bummed because the season just ended, and they're drilling a hole for investigation in the Mesa. They finally got through, and there's not going to be anything that they can show us until next season, unfortunately. So they also don't have an incentive to. Yeah, season 6. They also don't have an incentive to ever end the show, so they might not find anything ever.
Yeah, or not prove it,
Yeah, but definitely, as you're watching it, if you see something interesting, bring it up. We can go over it and talk about it here. That would be kind of fun to do.